And we are back here, D Shap in the morning on this fine thirsty Thursday. We do have Mr. Eric, who's again an inmate at the Adult Correctional Institute in Cranston, Rhode Island. Welcome, Mr. Eric.
Welcome. Thank you, Derek. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great. I can't complain, of course. And uh, you know, I was just with my family about like my daughter was discussing off the air about why you're in there and it'll be good to get you out because it's like you're a positive force to my show, like you have a positive attitude because a lot of people could have negative attitudes, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to say you have a positive attitude because that's why I love having you on my show because you have meaning, you have purpose, and just keep that purpose, keep that meaning. I have a lot of positive energy coming from you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it, Derek, because here you deal with a lot of things. You have the world. Sometimes you feel like the world's against you, and you're dealing with a lot of personalities. You're dealing with the system. You're dealing with a lot. But you can't be near your family. They're stressing. So I just take it one day at a time, and just keep a positive attitude, look forward, and not try to look backwards on anything, and try to continue to correct the mistakes that I made in the past. Try to walk a better path and give purpose. But I really appreciate you having me on your show and giving me the opportunity and the voice to be able to express my opinions on certain things and just put the message out there for all those that want to listen to hear. I really appreciate it.
Well, because I mean, even though I do comedy on my show, I talk about serious issues too, and you got to have a balance of great stuff. You got to talk about funny stuff, and this is one of the things you got to talk about some stuff because a radio show is a message for the community and for the world. So you have a topic that you want to talk about. I think everybody was talking about it this past week, and especially last week, and you want to touch this topic, and I'm glad you want to talk about this. I'll let you go with you have the floor.
Well, I seen what happened last week. I seen what happened last weekend. I seen what happened last weekend with the tape being released about what happened in Memphis, Tennessee, with the officers as what happened to in that situation. To beat that man to death like that, that's just it's tragic. As me as being a victim of police brutality, it's just I've been there before. I've been ripped out of my car. I've been beaten. All because I didn't stop right away. I stopped in front of my house and they didn't like that.
Right.
I had my elbow broken. Yeah, that happened to me in 2007.
Right.
And I was driving home one night. Me and my friend of mine was coming back home from was coming back home from the club or something. It was like about 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was pulled over. No questions was asked. I was dragged right out of my car. And so I understand that situation. Like I said, not all cops are bad cops. I won't paint everybody with a broad brush, because I don't believe in that, But it just, when you see something like that, when you see somebody being treated like an animal and being beaten like that, it's like, when are we actually going to have change, real change in this country? And it doesn't matter if they're white cop, black cop. That doesn't really matter because as we've seen here, it was 5 black officers beating a black man to death. You know what I mean? So it doesn't, and then we seen it back like 30 years ago with Rodney King. It was 5 white officers beating him, and it does not matter. It doesn't matter. It happens. It's just now. It's how do we deal with it? How do we address it? Because being driving late night, I've been pulled over driving while black, Derek.
Sure.
I have. You know what I mean? I've been in different areas and pulled over driving, and then I had officers that came up to the car, whether they were white, black, Spanish, and they show utter respect and they say, "Listen, this is the reason why I pulled you over. Try to correct what you're doing and have a good day." And it's cordial because at the end of the day, everybody wants to go home. I understand they have a job to do. They understand that I have that I'm trying to get to my destination, and they're just trying to make sure everybody's safe. But we all want to get home to our families at the end of the day, and that's what really matters. So
Sure.
it was very. I'm telling you, it was very touching. It was heartbreaking to see something that, because I felt that. I said, man, that has been me. You know what I mean? Like, or that could be me, or that could be my son, or that could be my cousin, or that could be my brother. It could be any person in my family that happened to. So the thought of it is like I went to bed after I watched the video, and that's all I thought. I woke up in the middle of the night, and that's the only thing I could do is think about that.
So what are the other people saying in the prison about that? Well, is that the talk in the prison right now about that?
Yeah, of course, it's topic of conversation. It's topic of conversation among me and other officers. It's topic of conversation amongst me and black and white officers and Hispanic officers. There's conversation about it amongst the inmates and how they feel about it. It's not a pretty thing. It's really not. It's not a pretty thing to see a man get. And we've all shared our experience on how we've been treated that way before. See, they put out these special task force, like Rhode Island, we have a gang unit, right? In Providence, they got a gang unit.
Yep.
It's called the Jump Out Boys. It's like the same thing that Scorpion unit that they had down there in Tennessee is the similar, but there's different names, and they have it in major cities, and I've been pulled over. Don't even ask, license, registration, no traffic violation. I just ripped out of my car, and they're looking for drugs and guns automatically. You know what I mean? It's happened to me numerous of times, even right up to when I came before I came into prison. This has happened.
Sure.
So you're stomping on somebody's constitutional rights. You know what I mean? And if you try to put up any type of resistance or speak on your rights, you are automatically taken as to be hostile, and they have they do whatever they want. They rip you out your car, they tear your car apart. It could be on the side of a road. You know how embarrassing? I don't know if you ever felt that feeling of being pulled over, sitting on a curb, all your doors are open in your car's being ransacked through just because somebody perceive you to be a criminal. You know what I mean? Without even asking you, like it's a basic traffic stop. Sometimes they don't even have a reason.
I did. I got arrested because I'm back in Atlanta days when I lived in Atlanta. I don't know if I told you this, but I went through a stop sign and my license was suspended for a week because I forgot to pay a ticket. And the thing is, my ex-wife and her girlfriend at the time, now she's married to her, but that's besides the point. But anyway, they told me not to go into the spot. I was trying to get some business. I got a renewal, right, from a business, right? But they said, don't go. We need you. And I didn't know I was going to get arrested, right? And so I said, well, I got to be back for the kids. I didn't know my license was suspended, right? I was only suspended. I found out I was only suspended for a week. And they took me to the county jail. This is counties down there in Georgia. And this is like 3 weeks before I moved my transition back up to New England, back in 2012. And I mean, they didn't do any brutality on me, but then when I got to the prison, I try to say I got to call my ex-wife, so they got to be back for the kids because they needed my car because they were limited for transportation, and I kept hounding the police officers. The kids get off the bus and I need to tell them. So they actually put me in solitary confinement, but I was only in jail for one. I got arrested 3 different times, in my life,
So you was in solitary confinement, huh? Imagine what that feels like, that solitary confinement. I've done, months at a time in solitary confinement. They're trying to do away with it here in Rhode Island because I've seen people that when they've been put in solitary confinement, their faculties, they lose their faculties. You become more mentally unstable by the time you get out of solitary confinement.
Sure.
Because of the isolation. So I've seen that happen, That's a different. We'll talk about that and that'll be a topic for us to discuss at another time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I don't want to lose the focus of what happened to Tyrone as anything that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, imagine being pulled over and you're afraid that might just be your last time that you might not be able to drive away from that situation. The fear that you have in your heart. I've been pulled over and been scared to death. You know what I mean? Of getting yanked out of my car, getting beat up, getting drugs planted on me. It's like the fear of not knowing what's gonna happen.
You know,
what I mean? Like I told her,
well, I'm even scared because I do a lot of driving, right? And even with anything, you don't know if today's gonna be a last day because you get into an accident and you see people beating each other up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And killing each other, shooting each other because they got into an accident. It's an accident. You have insurance. Like I remember I in Massachusetts, I've been into someone's motorcycle by accident. Nothing was harmed. I backed up. I said, "Don't worry. I know you're probably angry. I got full coverage insurance." I refused the situation to get any violence started. I said, "Okay, I own up to it. I have full coverage insurance, even though it was only not even a nick. It even knocked the bike over. I mean, imagine if I knocked the bike over, But still, accidents do happen. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know if today's gonna be a last day with whatever. And especially what happened to him was just a horrific situation. You know what I'm saying? And it could be anybody's child there. That's why you got to kiss your children and hug your children every day and say I love you.
Yeah, look. I don't know if you've seen what happened in Rhode Island just last week, but that officer that shot those children, those kids on the highway because they were speeding down the highway, so he pulled his gun out. He was acquitted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Officer Dolan of Kentucky Police Department. He was acquitted, but he shot some kids from the suburbs. This kid was in his expensive, in his almost brand new Audi. He's probably a teenager doing teenager stuff, speeding down the highway, and he followed him off the highway with no authority, no ability. He had no jurisdiction. He flashed him off the highway. Then his defense was that if they left and killed somebody or they killed themselves, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. But later on, he shoots the kid. So at the end of the day, it's like, I was like, what kind of cockamamie defense is that? But the jury bought it, and he was acquitted, and he went out. But how do you shoot into a car with a bunch of unarmed kids? And this happens to white kids, suburban kids from West Greenwich or East Greenwich, or these are not even kids that's from Providence or from the urban or minority or economically deprived neighborhoods. This happened to an affluent white kid on the highway. So just imagine what would have happened to in a different scenario of somebody of color or somebody that perceived to be a threat to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, he would have probably shot till all his bullets was empty and killed everybody in the car. You know what I mean? It's absolutely absurd. I think the power between those that the power dynamics in this country is crazy. It's like a hierarchy of power. You give a person a badge. Like I said, all of those that I've met decent cops, I've met genuinely nice cops. I've had conversations with them, even though I was on the other spectrum, but we get along. Even some of the officers in here, I get along. I laugh with them. We joke. You know what I mean? It's not all about, you're a cop and I'm an inmate. It's how we look at each other, perceive each other as men, and as human beings. Because that's at the end of the day, that's all we all are. We're all human beings. No matter if you're black, white, green, orange, Spanish. It doesn't really matter, right? All it really matters is that we're all human beings. We all bleed the same, and we all love our families, and we all try to do the right things in life. But you just have those that are bad apples, or those that get the badge and they go above and beyond, their jobs, or they feel like, all right, I got the power. The power is what is the problem, because if there's unfettered power, Derek, anybody feels like they have the absolute authority to do anything they want to any human being without any regard as to what the consequences are in the long run, right? Like, all right, they beat that guy because they thought they could get away with it. They didn't beat him because, they felt like they could get away. They've done it many a times, best believe that, you know what I mean? And they got away with it many a times, so... You see how they was trying to figure out a way to cook up their story. Oh, he reached for my gun. Oh, that's sad. To have no regard in life like that is appalling.
Yeah, 1 minute left. Can you call me tomorrow morning at 9 or the normal time you call me?
Yeah, I could call you at how about I give you a call at
9:30? Okay. Which will air on Friday's show, okay? That will air on Friday's show. So you're on again 2 days this week. So I thank you, Eric, for joining me today on this Thursday, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thanks for having me. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, talk to you tomorrow. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye. All right, and then you have Eric, of course, and we'll talk to him tomorrow, hopefully, on the show. If everything goes well, D Shap Morning Entertainment News following this here at D Shap in the Morning.